Talk to us first about what this means for the kingdom. MBS has long wanted this goal. The West had told him it was unreasonable, and now he's achieved it.
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, that's right. They've reached the $2 trillion, which was the figure that Mohammed bin Salman had mooted almost 4 years ago when he talked about this IPO. So they have reached that figure. There will be a little bit of vindication in the kingdom that they did get that number. Clearly, there were smiles all around yesterday at the DiPaola when they rang the bell and listed Aramco shares. It was really touch and go over the last 3 months even. But let's put that in perspective a little bit. There was a lot of domestic support and regional support for the IPO. Local investors will get basically 1 share for every 10 shares they hold after 6 months if they keep the stock. So there's incentive to keep the shares. There's not really incentive to sell because it's such a domestic aim and such a subject of national pride there. So there's not a lot of incentive to sell for people there. And from the point of view of the IPO itself, it didn't bring in the masses of foreign capital that the government wanted at the start of this process. They initially started talking about listing 5% on the local as well as an international exchange. Instead, we've got now 1.5% on the local exchange. So that could change. They could look at the international exchanges later now.
Yeah, and to that point, Anthony, great to talk to you. What is the prospect then for this sort of valuation to hold up and for Aramco to target a second share sale?
It seems like we'll have to wait about 6 months to see what the real valuation is as it moves around, because there is that kind of that lockup period where local investors will have incentive to hold the shares. So we may see it, moving more after that initial 6-month period, and it's going to depend on the oil price, really, the Aramco share price, how that's seen internationally. Oil is going into a period where we're looking at sluggish demand, other supply coming onto the market, so that's going to be impacting the prices. OPEC has agreed to a 3-month cut only through the end of March in order to support those prices. So it really depends on how oil continues, what that does to international investors' view of the market. We shouldn't expect that international investors will take that $2 trillion valuation lock, stock, and barrel and accept that as a price for an international exchange. So both the international investors will have to evaluate how they want to get in, if they want to get into these shares, and then the Saudis will have to evaluate again with their bankers, what is the price in the market, what's the prospect for oil looking like, and what kind of valuation they could potentially get on an international exchange. That will come after a year because there is a lockup period for the Saudi government not to sell any more shares. So we've got about 6 months to a year's time to see how that all shakes out, Dara.